Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be painting an illustration of a girl holding a bouquet of flowers. So let's jump right in. Okay, so to start, I'm just going to go through my materials. I have B watercolor paper today. It's just the last of what I have, so I'm using that. I have my Winsor Newton Professional Watercolors in my palette. I have my Princeton snap brush in a size 6 round, a pencil and a kneaded eraser, water, paper towel, and we're ready to go. Okay, so today we're going to be creating a person holding flowers illustration. So we're, incorporating the illustration aspect that I've been doing for the last little bit, plus florals. So let's just have fun with it. Okay, so if you watched my other videos on illustration, this may help you out a bit, but if not, don't worry, just try and follow along. So even though we're not going to be seeing the girl's face, she's going to be holding the flowers in front of her face. We're still going to do the outline just to give us guidance on getting the rest of the proportion of the body right. So let's start drawing really lightly with our pencil so we can erase it later. So let's try, we're just going to do a simple circle for the head. You won't even see this. Then we're going to do a line down the middle. And this is kind of as her spine. And we're just going to go right here. And this is where her hip bone is going to be. So we're just going to draw a little line going across. Then you're going to draw a longer line for the shoulders. Actually, we can make that a little bit lower. So just under the head, about maybe like a centimeter or so. Like that. Okay. And then just up from this is the pelvis hip area. You're going to do a little dash here, and that's kind of where her belly button waist is going to be. Okay. And now we're going to draw from the shoulder bones here, her arms. So just drawing sticks, you're going to come down to where her elbow is. Come down here where her elbow is. And then you're just going to bring it right up and right up. Okay. You're literally drawing a stick person, and you can draw, depending on this line, you can make her hips bigger, smaller, whatever you want. Okay, and then from her hip bone, just gonna draw some lines for the legs. We probably won't even see the legs. I think I might put her in a dress. Okay, so now we're gonna make it look a bit more 3D. So from the neck, you're gonna come down, or sorry, from the head, you're gonna come down, and then just before you get to the shoulder bone, or the collarbone, you're gonna come out on a slant to the shoulders, like that. You probably won't even see this in the illustration, but it just kind of helps us. Okay, and then you're going to do the arms. So the arms are thicker, obviously, than a stick. So come out around the stick, like this. Maybe she could be wearing like a flowy top. And then from the elbow, this is the elbow, right? We're going to come up around, like that. Again, around here, doing the top of the arm, and then the forearm comes in front. So you're always going to have to make adjustments. I do too, as you'll see me erase this a bunch of times until I feel like it looks decent. Okay, but just play around with it. And even if it's kind of like a stick figure and you're focusing more on the flowers, that's totally fine too. Okay, so we have our forearms there. And I think I might put her more in a flowy top. So from the top of the forearm, I'm just going to come down, do a little flow line like that. And we'll go behind the arm like that. Yeah, like that. And then I'm just going to erase any lines in the middle. So let's erase that spine line like that. Okay, and then from right under the armpits here, the waist is going to come in a bit. It doesn't go right to that little line. Come in just a bit, and then it's going to come back out over the hip area. Okay, and you can do a nice long flowy dress, whatever you want her to wear. Okay, and I might actually fade that part out anyway. Okay, so now erase any lines that you have in the middle. Any lines on the arms that might show up under watercolor. And that's why it's important to draw lightly so you don't see these pencil marks after. Okay, like so. And then we'll focus a little bit on the hands. You're not going to see too much of the hands anyway, so don't really worry about it too much, but it's going to come from, the wrist is really small, so it's going to come out of it like that. And you can draw a few fingers if you want, and we can just cover it mostly with flowers if you like. If it's a little bit too difficult to draw hands, just kind of drawing guidelines. You don't even have to make them very, you know, detailed or anything. Okay, like that. You can barely see them. Okay, and now we are going to erase our face. Okay, so we're going to be doing some watercolor flowers over it. And because flowers are always the most fun, let's do that first. Okay, so I'm going to do some lilacs. So I want some nice purples in here, and you can use dioxazine purple. What else do I have? I might use some of this magenta kind of color. Might even grab some cobalt blue, throw it in there, and just, we're gonna kind of mix it up. Okay, so start with a light wash, and we're just gonna start kind of with a really, really light stick, not even all the way through. And we're just gonna start doing little dabs like this. And it doesn't have to be lilacs. You can do any flowers that I've taught you, or any flowers that you desire, whatever. Okay, so just kind of imagine a little stem, and then you're just going to cover it with little dots. Okay, and you can switch up the colors, have them bleed into each other. Okay, we want it nice and big where her head would have been. And this way you get away without drawing the head and the face and all that stuff if it's not like your jam to do that. This is an easy way to avoid it, but also make a beautiful illustration. Okay, so you're just going to keep doing this. And if you want to add other flowers in there too, you totally can. And I'm just switching up the purples a bit, mixing them up, adding other colors in there. Okay, you can dab some darker colors in there, dab a bit of blue in there. Whatever you like. Also, when doing this, try and think of a color palette. So if you're picking your flowers, they don't have to be these purple ones. They can be whatever color you want them to be. Think about what color you're going to want to do the dress. Okay, so like a complementary color to purple is yellow. So you could do a nice yellow dress. I think I might do a green, like a nice bluish green dress. I think that would look really nice. But you know, you can look up color palettes and ideas to really make this piece pop. I love Pinterest for that. Just look up color palette ideas. And so if you don't do lilacs and you do other little flowers, you can do whatever. Really consider that color palette. Okay, so I have some drooping, and you're just really making them all close together. Okay, and then we can also add more later too. Now I'm gonna try and get some stems. Excuse the noise. Okay, you're gonna have some stems coming down. Okay, like a bunch of them. I'm gonna have some stems like that. And you can even do a couple stems up here and then add some flowers to those. Okay, and we will be adding some leaves too. So let's grab, I'm gonna grab some sap green here, or maybe some hooker green or dark green, whatever green you have. And I might just throw some leaves just throughout a bit. Just a little pops of green. And we're gonna do more on the stems down there, but I wanna do the dress first. Okay, so little pops of green like that. Okay, so now we're gonna do the hands and the arms and the skin color. So pick whatever color skin you wanna do. You can use a brown. If you don't know how to mix a brown and you don't have one, red and green are a really good option for a really nice brown. Yellow ochre, adding to it. So actually I'll show you how to make like a peach tone like my skin color. So I use yellow ochre or cadmium yellow is fine. And then a pink. So I have permanent rose here and makes a nice little peach. That's pretty bright. And then a little bit of burnt umber. And then you're gonna water it down like crazy, okay? And we'll start off with a really, really light wash first. Okay. That's way too bright. Otherwise. Okay, right to the sleeve, like that. And then we're gonna wait for this to dry, so when we do our next parts, it doesn't bleed into each other. So just wait for this part to dry. If you wanna add a little bit more shading on the arms, I'm gonna grab a little bit more burnt umber. Just put a little bit of darkness, especially where some of the hands are. There would be a bit of a shadow there. Okay, and then let this dry and we'll come right back. Okay, so now it's dry. I think I might add some hair coming down. So again, whatever hair color you want, brown, blonde. I'll show you how I do my blonde hair. I'm just pretending this is me. Let's pretend I have a beautiful bouquet of flowers. I'm just gonna grab some yellow ochre and just do some strokes coming down. You can place some in those little white spots if you like. Depending on how long your hair is. You don't even have to do hair if you don't want to. Okay, I might grab a bit of burnt umber. Because my hair has some brown in it. Again, just putting it in some of those pieces. I'm gonna go over the lilacs again. Anyway, so don't worry too much about getting the hair up in here. Okay, like that. And then I think I'm gonna do some detail on the hair with pencil crayons after, colored pencils. Okay, so now that that part's done, we can start doing the dress. And I think I'm gonna do the dress this color, which is like a bluish green. And I just mixed ultramarine with yellow, but more on the blue side, so more blue. So I'm just going to, I just really like these colors together. And then I said before, I'm gonna have it fade out into the bottom. I'll show you how you do that. So gradually just start adding more water to your brush. Okay, again, wash it off, dry it off a bit, and just extend it out. Oops, wash it off, dry it, and extend it out. Just keep doing that and it will eventually kind of just fade out. Like that, okay? So I'm gonna do behind first, we'll do the sleeves after. So this part is only a little bit tricky because you have to be kind of careful as you go around the hair, the arms, and the stems. Stems not too much because you can just go over that with brown again. not the biggest deal. We can actually just go right over top of those stems. Don't even bother trying to navigate around them. We don't want to make it harder than it has to be. Okay, just try and go around that hair and the arms. So we're doing behind here first. Add some more. And you can add some lines for the creases in the dress if you like. So just adding a bit more darkness. And we're just gonna make it a bit darker, especially inside. Hold on. Let me grab a bit more yellow, more blue. I'm just really darkening it up in here because there would be a bit more of a shadow. Okay, and the more blue you add, the darker it will be. Okay, and you can add some flowing lines like that. Okay. All right, now while we're waiting for that part to dry, before we do the arms, we can do some more lilacs. Lilac, whatever you call it. So let's grab more color. And you can start doing some overlapping. And this will just make some sharper that look like they're in the foreground and those ones are in the background. Okay. So right up to the hands. I think I'm gonna make some bigger up here too. And if you really weren't interested in doing like the girl holding this, you could always just do like a little potted plant using this technique with the lilacs. Like, don't feel like you have to have like a person holding it. You can do this however you like. And I'm just really trying to make it a little bit more full. Like so. Okay, there we go. And now we're just gonna wait for it to dry and then we will come back. Okay, so our dress is dry. So now let's do the sleeves. So remember, they're kind of drooping down here. Just go around that hair again if you can. That. And then part of it goes behind the arm, like the inside of the sleeve. So you'll have a little bit coming back up there. Make it look a little flowy by just kind of creating some ripples like that. You can go back in. Create a little bit of darker areas where the elbows are, maybe up by the shoulders, just tapping in that color. Like that. There we go. And now we're gonna let it dry, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do some detail with some colored pencils. Okay, so for this, I'm going to be using my Prismacolor Premier colored pencils, but you can use whatever you have handy, or you can even just use watercolor. So once it's all dry, you can go over with a really small brush. I don't think I'm gonna do anything to these guys, the flowers. I really like the way they look with the watercolor, but I wanna make the person a bit more defined. So I'm gonna start by grabbing something close to the skin tone, and I'm just gonna kind of gently outline the arms while kind of shading in like that, just to define the arms a little bit. Like that, okay? And it's still pretty light, so if you want to take a really light brown, I'm just gonna make sure it's sharpened. Working with sharp pencils is important. So sharpen it. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of shadow, especially to like the definition of the fingers. Around the arm a bit. Maybe where the elbow is. Okay. I used to outline my illustrations with black pen, but then I found I didn't like the harshness as much, just my own preference. And I really liked the way it looked like doing it this way. So just made it look a little bit softer like that. And then I'm gonna use the same brown for the hair. So I'm just gonna start making it, just doing some hair strands. Nothing too crazy. Kind of outlining it a bit, make it a bit darker in some areas. Okay, but don't worry too much about the hair. And if you're doing darker hair, use a darker pencil. I might even go in with a bit more darkness. And then grab something close to the hair color. So let's see what I have. My pencils are not organized. Can you tell? I bet you people cringe. Nah, it's fine. I'm just gonna grab this yellow and just lighten it up a bit. Like that. I'm not too worried about that part. And I might even actually blend out some of the shadow I made with my skin color. There we go. Okay, and then you're gonna pick a color that is close to the color of the dress. So let me see if I have something similar. I might just add this green. Maybe a bit of black. Because it's like a green and a blue mixture. So I have this like dark green color. Might even add a little bit of blue in there, like this ultramarine, like the colors I used. Well, that's not black. Here's black. Okay, so I'm gonna start just by kind of outlining the dress a little bit. Okay, and then where the elbow is, I'm gonna make a line here. And then a line where that seam would be coming down the beginning, the front of the dress. We might actually do more of the shading, oopsie, with black. But I'm just gonna outline the dress with this green. Might even make a little waist area. And then do some more of those creases in the dress, like that. Or you could do this with watercolor too. Just slowly fading out, like that. Okay, some creases in the dress here. I'm gonna actually just grab some black and do this, I think. I'm gonna color the inside of the sleeve black. Oops. That's all good. Okay, do some more creases in the fabric. That. And And then I'm gonna grab a white. This is one thing I love about the colored pencils too, is that you can create some highlights. In the fabric like that. And then I might, for the stems, maybe a little bit of white in the hair too. The stems of the lilacs I'll do with this actually. So I'm just gonna come down, start doing a bunch of stems, and then even do some green leaves. Let's see if it will show up. Over top. You can have some of these sticking out just for a bit of a change in texture. Grab that dark green. Add some shadow. Really, however you like to do this, there's no wrong way. I'm gonna add some black stems too. You can do some throughout with your brown. Like that. And there you go. There is your illustration of a girl with flowers.
Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram and Facebook for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.